Hey Wranglers, how you guys doing? It's me again. Now I know that we've been working on equations for a long time, a couple weeks now, but one type of equation that we have not looked at much are the equations that have all types of fractions in them, okay? I know that some of y'all, when you see some fractions in a problem, you want to turn it over, leave it, throw it away, do something with it because y'all don't like fractions. Most 8th grade students don't like fractions. But people, you should love the fractions. The fractions are nice. And I'm going to show you the best way to take those fractions and get rid of them, so that in your equation you won't have to deal with fractions anymore. All right? So I'm going to show you this. The first thing I want y'all to do is take a look at number 1. All right? Now look at that. 1 over 2w plus 1 over 3w is all equal to 5 over 3. Now, if we look at this problem, we got fractions all over the place. 1, 2, 3. Matter of fact, every term in there is a fraction. All right? And when you got something like this, the last thing you want to try to do is solve this with all the fractions in it. Because you can do it that way, but you're going to be taking forever to solve this problem. So let me show you the easiest way to clear this equation of the fractions. Now, I'm going to kind of take it slow. Okay? And when I take it slow, I'm doing that so everybody can follow what I'm doing, because this is, although it's a simple process, it's one that you can easily get confused on. So pay attention. The first thing when I try to clear this equation of fractions is I'm going to look at the denominators. That's the numbers on bottom. And I ask myself, what is the lowest common denominator of 2, 3, and 3? Think about it. Okay? Think of what's the lowest common denominator of 2, 3, and 3. Or what is the number that 2, 3, and 3 all can go into evenly? Now some of y'all may be thinking 6. Well, 6 is right. So this is what I do. This is the part I'm going to take slow. I'm going to put parentheses around the entire equation. You see that? Around the whole thing. And remember we said that the common denominator was 6. Okay? Because 2, 3, and 3 all go into 6 evenly. All right? Now, so the way we do this is this. This next step is the part that I hope everybody understands, okay? And the part I'm going to take slow. Now, if we look, how many times, think of this question now, how many times does 2 go into 6? 3 times, right? 2 goes into 6 3 times. Now, we take that 3 and we're going to multiply it to the 1. What's 3 times 1? It's 3. So I'm going to get 3w for my first term. And once again, what I did, I went 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 1 was 3. And that's where the 3w came from. Now I'm going to bring down the plus sign. Now take a look. Let's do this again. Look at the 3. How many times does 3 go into 6? 2 times, right? 3 goes into 6 2 times. And I take that 2. And I'm going to multiply it to 1. What's 2 times 1? 2. So I'm going to get 2w. Then you need to make sure, notice the parenthesis goes around the answer as well. So we're going to need to do the same thing here. So that's all going to equal. You can draw that line too. I forgot. Sorry. Now, 3 goes into 6 how many times? Goes in 2 times. And 2 times 5 is 10. So I'm going to put a 10 here. Let me say that again. 3 went into 6 2 times, and 2 times 5 is 10. Okay? So now we have our equation, and notice there are no more fractions in it. Now we're just going to solve this like the other equations we dealt with in the previous lessons. Okay? Now, we look at this wall, we ask ourselves, is there anything that we can add together on this side of the wall? Right? And we did this before. Remember, you got a W here and a W here. When you have a W and W, they're both on the same side of the wall. You can add those numbers together. So, 3W plus 2W, you're going to take those numbers, you're going to add them. 3 plus 2 is 5. So you're going to get 5W is all equal to 10. Now, so we combine those terms. We got 5W equal 10. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of that 5 that's being multiplied to the W. Now, what is the opposite, what is the inverse operation of multiplication? It's division. So what we need to do to get rid of this 5 that's being multiplied to the W, we have to divide. Now I noticed that a lot of people have been making mistakes on this step. Okay? When they're dividing, they're using the opposite number. They're using -5. Don't do that. Use the same number that's next to the variable when you are dividing. The 5 is next to the W, so we're going to use the 5. Notice, this is positive and this is positive. We didn't do any type of sign changing. Then, we divide the 5 to this side as well. Now, 5 divided by 5, oh, that's 1. So those will cancel, leaving me W is equal to, and 10 divided by 5, 2. So I put a 2 here. So W is going to equal 2. And that right there, folks, that's our answer. Okay? And that's it. That's how we clear the equation of fractions. Now, you may have thought, whoa, you went too fast. Okay? Some of y'all may have it. Some of y'all may think, man, I wish you did one more just to make sure. So guess what? Let's do one more. Here we go. Now, we're going to do number 2. Number 2, I really like number 2. It's a nice one. Take a look at number 2. Number 2 says this. Number 2 says 3 over 4a minus 4 over 3a all going to equal -7 over 6. Oh, that's a nice looking problem, isn't it? Now, the first thing I'm going to do on this problem right here, just like we did every other video, and I know some of y'all don't like to do this, and you don't have to, but I'm telling you, to me, it makes it easier if you change your signs. So I'm going to go through them and change my signs. So what does that mean? Look for any minus signs. Now, when I see this as a minus sign right here, I'm going to change it. But when I change it, people, you put the negative in the numerator. That's the number on top, okay? So I'm going to change this minus to a plus, and then put the negative up with the numerator. Now, technically, you could put it with the denominator, but you can get confused doing that. And don't forget, that's a negative, so don't change it. All right. So that's our first step, change the signs. Next thing we want to do is now we're going to want to find the lowest common denominator of 4, 3, and 6. Just think about it for a second. 4, 3, and 6. Some of y'all may say 6, because look, 3 goes into 6. That's true. But does 4 go into 6? Nope. So that cannot be 6. Our lowest common denominator is not 6. So maybe what would it be? Oh, maybe it's 12. Let's look. Does 6 go into 12? Yep. 3 go into 12? Yes. 4 go into 12. That's all the way across. That's a lot of yeses. But we're going to use 12 for our common denominator. Now, I'm going to take this part slow again. So let's see. Remember, 4 goes into 12 how many times? 3 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And 3 times 3 is 9. So it's going to be 9a plus. Notice we got the plus. We're going to bring it down. 3 goes into 12 how many times? 4 times. And 4 times -4, boy, that's a toughie. 4 times -4 is going to be -16. And don't forget that a. And that's all going to equal, forgot my line again. 6 goes into 12 how many times? 2. And then 2 times -7, because don't forget that negative, 2 times -7 is going to be -14. Okay? So let me do that one more time, just to make sure we got it. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9, and then the a. Then 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times -4, -16a equals. Then we went 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times -7 is -14. Now at this point, what we can do is now we're going to go ahead and now we're going to combine our like terms if we have any that can be combined. So if I look here, I ask myself, is there anything on this side of the equation that we can add together? Okay. Now look, I got an a and an a right here, meaning I can add 9a and -16a. I can add those a's together. Now, 9 and -16. Am I really going to add those numbers, or am I going to subtract? We're going to subtract, right, because the signs are different. Now, 16 minus 9 is 7a. And don't forget, because 16 is bigger and it's negative, it's going to be -7a. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to bring down the -14. Now, so now we got -7 times a equals -14. And remember, What's that inverse operation of multiplication? It's division. So I'm going to divide both sides by whatever is next to the a. Now what's next to the a? Negative 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put negative 7 on the bottom here. Negative 7 on the bottom there. Now let's divide. You see, negative 7 and negative 7, those are going to cancel, leaving me with a is equal to negative 14 divided by negative 7. You see, 14 divided by 7 is 2. We know this. But is it positive or negative? Remember, when you're dividing and the signs are the same, your answer will be positive. So negative divided by negative will end up being positive. Now, right there, we're done. So hopefully y'all understand a little bit of this now, okay? We did two great problems. But what happens? What happens if we got a whole bunch of fractions, but then we also have a whole number that's hanging out too? Okay? What if we got something that looks like number 3? And I got to show you how to do this now. If we look at number 3, everyone take a look. 5 over 6n, right? Then we got excuse me, plus 3 is all equal to negative 7 over 6. Okay? Now, first thing I want to do is I want to change my signs, okay, and I'm going to forget. I'm going to draw the line. So we're going to change signs. Is there anything to change here? No, that's a plus. That's a negative. There's nothing to change. But I know I can draw that line straight through the equal sign like that. Now, what I need to do is I need to figure out, okay, I got a fraction here. I got a fraction here. But this is a whole number, okay? Now, to me, if I'm dealing with a bunch of fractions, I want everything fractions, okay, if I can. So how can I make this positive 3 into a fraction? Anyone remember? What can you put underneath the 3 to make it a fraction? A 1. You can put a 1 underneath the 3 because 3 divided by 1 is still 3. It didn't change anything. We just made it into a fraction, okay? Now, just like before, what we're going to do now is we're going to ask ourselves, what is a common denominator of 6, 1, and 6? Now, if you notice, you got 6 and 6, okay? And the 1 goes into anything. So our common denominator here is going to be 6. So I'm going to put a 6 right outside here like so. Now, let's go ahead and let's get rid of these fractions. Now, pay attention now once again. 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5n plus. Now look now. 1 goes into 6 how many times? I can't do it. 6 times. And 6 times 3 is 18. Okay? 1 goes into 6 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Then that's all going to equal. 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. Now, at this point, we have our equation, and now what we need to do is we need to ask ourselves, can we combine terms? There's no terms to combine. This has an n, this does not. So please do not combine terms there. What you need to do now is ask yourself, is there anything being added to n? There is, the 18. Now, what is the opposite of positive 18? Negative 18. So I'm going to add negative 18 here, and I'm going to add negative 18 here. Now, once I do this, I'm going to go ahead and see that 18 minus 18 is 0, so those cancel out. I'm going to bring down the 5n equals, and here, negative 7 plus negative 18. Now, think about it. Am I going to add those numbers, or am I going to subtract them? The signs are the same, so you're going to need to add. And 7 plus 18 is 25. And look, the 18 is bigger and negative, so keep that negative. Now we have 5 times n equals negative 25. Now, what is the inverse operation of multiplication again? It's division. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this 5, and I'm going to divide it to both sides. Look at that. 5 there and 5 there. Now, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so those are going to cancel out, leaving me with just n is equal to. And now look, 25 divided by 5, it's 5. And Those signs, are they the same or are they different? They're different. And when the signs are different, your answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative right there. And so my answer, n equals -5. Told you, it's fun working with fractions. And look, we had this big ugly fraction problem and we got rid of it and solved a simple equation in getting rid of those fractions. Now, is this easy to do? It's not too hard as long as you remember the steps. Okay, now remember, 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 was 5. That's how we got that. 1 went into 6 times. 6 times 3 was 18. That's where we got that. And then 6 goes into 6 once, and 1 times -7 was -7. Okay, that is how you clear an equation of fractions. Okay, so now we got all that taken care of. Why don't y'all get to work? Go through the rest of these. You only got 7 more problems. Go through these problems. Don't give up, okay? And do your best to get these equations, get rid of those fractions, okay? All right. Thank you guys so much.